Hey there, Jamie with Brazelton Realty here, and welcome to Living in Northern Colorado. On this channel, we talk about everything you need to know about living in Northern Colorado, whether it's restaurants, whether it's fun things to do, whether it's the mountains, whether it's real estate, we talk about it all. So if you're curious, if you're thinking about moving here, or maybe you live here and you're always looking for something new to do, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be notified next time I post a video. Now today we are going to be talking about cost of living. Do you think you want to move to Northern Colorado, but you're not sure how much it's going to cost? Well, we're going to talk about some of the larger areas here in Northern Colorado, and I'm going to give you a price point of some of the real estate so you kind of understand where all the cities fit in terms of the real estate. Now I'm going to start with Fort Collins. Fort Collins has an average price point of about $518,000 as of 2021. Now, Fort Collins is probably one of the most popular destinations or cities here in Northern Colorado that people love to visit. It's a college town, and you're also going to have a lot of people want to move here and live in Fort Collins. Fort Collins is a really vibrant city. There's lots to do. There's lots of activities. You're going to find yourself really close to the mountains and really close to Horsetooth Reservoir. You're going to find yourself in a place where lots of people are being really active. The downtown is really vibrant. It's kind of hipstery and fun. There's lots of fun boutique shops in and around the city. There's a lot of activity you will find to do within Fort Collins, lots of parks and bike paths and hiking trails and lots of outdoor things to do. And so if you're wanting to be in the heart of it all and you want to be surrounded by lots of people and you don't mind a little bit of traffic for Northern Colorado standards at least, then Fort Collins may be the place for you. There's tons of breweries, there's tons of just activities all over the place. They're always doing festivals and tastings and you name it, they have it there. And they love to be extremely active. So if that's you, check out Fort Collins. Now, next on the list, and about half the size population-wise, is Loveland, Colorado. Now, Loveland is also a really vibrant city. However, we find a lot more retirees tend to migrate to Loveland because the traffic isn't going to be as bad given the population decrease there. But you're still nestled down into the foothills. You're really close to the mountains. You're 30-minute drive up to Estes. You're really close to Boulder and really close to Denver. And you still have a lot of breweries, a lot of downtown life. You have a lot of shopping. You're really close to the Centera shopping area, which is a great place if you want to just do some shopping and go over to Shields, check out some clothes, you name it, they've got it. They've got lots of restaurants that are popping up over there. And so there's a lot of things that Loveland has for it, and it just doesn't tend to be as active as Fort Collins is. However, there's still beautiful golf courses and bike trails and hiking trails. So if you're an active person, you still have plenty of options. You have Boyd Lake right in the middle of the city. So if you like to boat, if you like to sunbathe, if you like to fish, it's a great place to visit. It's a great place to live. And before I forget, Loveland has an average price point of $482,000. So it is going to be fairly substantially cheaper to live in than Fort Collins is. So that's something that you may consider. A lot of people, if they're commuting to Denver, Loveland is a better option because it's a little cheaper and it's closer to Denver. Next on my list is going to be Greeley. Now, Greeley has a higher population than Loveland, but still less than Fort Collins, so it's nestled right kind of in the middle there. Now, it's off to the east a little bit farther, so it's not quite as close to the mountains as Loveland or Fort Collins, but there's still plenty of activities, lots of bike paths, lots of parks. There's lots of trails that are relatively close. You're also going to find a little bit different of a community in Greeley. It's going to be more of a blue collar community here in Greeley. It's going to have still a vibrant downtown, still lots of things to do. Actually, when I'm videoing this right now, there's an arts festival picnic that they have downtown, which draws a ton of people. They have the Friday nights at Greeley where they open up the downtown and you have lots of live music and lots of street food and things like that. So there's still a lot of things you can do, but the price point at Greeley is $403,000. So that's cheaper than both Loveland and Fort Collins. So a lot of people will look at Greeley as an alternative. Plus, it is still very close to Denver. And it's between I-25 and Highway 85 and even pretty close to County Road 49, which are pretty fast corridors to get yourself to Denver quickly. Next on my list is going to be Windsor. Now, Windsor is a nice little bedroom community that's really exploded over the last 10 years. There's been a ton of building. There's been a ton of new construction. There's been a ton of commercial outfits moving into Windsor. There's a lot of restaurants and some breweries that moved in. There's still some bike paths, and it's relatively close to the mountains. It's kind of tucked away between Loveland and Greeley and Fort Collins. It's kind of right there in the center. And so a lot of people that just don't want the traffic, don't want the congested, larger city feel will move into Windsor because it's close to everything, but it's still a small community. So the average price point of Windsor is going to be $580,000. Now, it is a lot higher price point. However, there's a pretty wide range within Windsor. There are some areas within Windsor that you can go down to the Water Valley or some of the more desirable neighborhoods, and it is very expensive to live there. It is very desirable because of the community life that you'll find there. You'll find neighborhoods where everybody owns a golf cart and they'll drive those around and get margaritas and go to the beach and hang out. It's really quite vibrant and quite fun. The downtown life is starting to pick up. There's a lot of boutique shops that are coming in. There's a lot of franchise restaurants that are starting to get attracted to Windsor, and so they're moving in as well. And now they're also talking about putting in kind of a convention center field, to do some minor league sports in Windsor and have some hotels and more restaurants and stuff. So there's a lot of growth expected in this area. Next is going to be Johnstown. Now, Johnstown is going to be south of Greeley, so it's going to be a lot closer to Denver than a lot of these other places that we've talked about so far. And so a lot of people from Denver will live here and commute to Denver. It's really not that far. But Johnstown's another kind of bedroom community that is kind of a sleepy community that has some really nice real estate and is really starting to grow leaps and bounds. Now, the average price point in Johnstown is about $500,000, and they do have a ton of new construction, not as much as probably Windsor and Severance and those areas, but still quite a bit of new construction going in. Johnstown's kind of weird because the city limits actually extend all the way to I-25 and then down to Highway 34. So Shields and that shopping center technically is still within Johnstown city limits. However, you go up to Johnstown proper and the downtown area, there's some fun boutique shops, there's some fun breweries, there's some fun coffee shops, a lot of fun things to do, and its real draw is it's just close to everything. Now, if you're really looking to get away from the crowds, but you still want to be close enough to go places if you want to and have a really fun bedroom community experience, Eaton may be a nice place for you to check out. It's got a lot of expansion, however, it's still pretty small. There are some downtown activities, there are some restaurants coming in and some chains coming in, but it's still fairly isolated. It's going to be tucked in just east of Windsor and Severance in that area, and then north of Greeley. So it's going to be a little bit farther away from the Denver area, but it's still a really fun little community. One of the nice things about Eaton is the price point. The price point, average price point there is about $460,000. So you can get a nice house there for a little bit cheaper, and then you can spend that money doing things that you enjoy doing. So a lot of people are moving to Eaton in these small communities because they can get more house for their money, and they still have a smaller community feel, which is what they're going for. Now, the last community that I'm going to talk about is by far the smallest community, but it's kind of tucked in between Eaton and Windsor, and that community is Severance. Now, Severance as a town really doesn't have much going for it as far as restaurants and amenities. It has a gas station, it has a bar and a couple restaurants, and that's about it. But there's so much new construction going on, and it's so close. Sometimes you can't tell where Severance stops and Windsor begins. So the average price point of Severance is $538,000, and most of the houses in Severance are very new. Some of them brand new, a lot of them brand new construction. So if that's something you're looking for and you're not too worried about commuting to Denver, but you still kind of want to be in the heart of it all, but you like the small community feel, Severance may be the place to be. Now, this is not certainly an exhaustive list. This just gives you an idea of some of the cost of living here in northern Colorado. I'm going to stick some videos down in the description of some different cities. I've done some highlight videos. Hopefully, this will give you a better idea of what it's like to live in some of these cities. If you have any questions with them, feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk to you, and I'd love to answer any questions you might have.